please silence your phones. I'll say it again. Please silence your phones. We're going to get started. We're going to bring the meeting to order. I just want to announce to everyone that only delegates and alternates substituting for a delegate can sit in the designated area. Others, please sit with the residents that way. And I'm going to call the meeting to order. And Bertha, do we have a quorum?
46.
46? Thank you very much. That means we have a quorum. Cool. Alan, you have the minutes? I'm sorry.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out. The minutes of the March Delegates Assembly meeting were published in the Cobrua Reporter. Has anyone found any omissions, corrections, or additions to those printed minutes? Are there any objections to accepting the minutes as published in the April edition of the Cobrua Reporter? Thank you.
Okay, for my report, President's report, I have a few things. Several presidents and directors attended the board certified course. If you did not attend this course, you will have an opportunity to obtain the PowerPoint presentation from First Service. It's important to take this course. In fact, it's mandatory according to the state. And this is just for directors and presidents. Okay, so it's important that you have to do it. So if you haven't done it, there's also maybe some online opportunities to take this course as well. Once all the associations vote on the new management contract, we will have a better idea as to what direction we are all going in. Milt, did you want to say a few words about this? Here it goes.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Milton Fishberger. You've heard me up here before. At yesterday's executive board meeting, Charlie has asked that I continue with certain things that we have been doing over the last almost a year. I forget how long it's been already, on the Management Search Committee. At this point in the process, though, we won't know an answer until the end of this month, when every board will have decided on what company they're going to go forward with. It doesn't stop there, because whatever the decision is made, contracts have to be written for either both companies or one company to move forward. And Charlie has asked me to do that with in alphabetical order. Ted Levine and Stanley Siegel will be joining me on this ad hoc committee. Is that what we're calling it? Okay. So moving forward, that is the process to determine a contract to be signed, etc. And that's all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. I wanted to do something a little different this morning. And basically, I just want to take a few minutes. So I wanted to take a few minutes to pay tribute to Stanley Siegel for 23 years in the M&O committee, as well as several other committees. He has many years and hours of service that he has given this community. I appreciate your unwavering commitment and for being a cornerstone of our team, Stanley. Your passion and perseverance inspires those around you, and you certainly have inspired me just watching you over the years. And thank you again for your years of service and contribution. We truly appreciate your long-standing commitment and the lasting impact you have made to our village. You have spent many, many years at M&O and have been involved in virtually countless committees. Some of those committees were like the insurance committee, which you were on with me, and I always went to you if I had a question. Community Affairs, Comcast, First Service Advisory Committee, and many, many more. Stanley has had an imprint on virtually everything that you see in this village, okay, as far as the clubhouse. Okay, you're talking about the fitness center, the theater, okay, the exercise room, and everything that happens outside as far as maintenance as well. Okay, so these are things that Stanley has worked on along with the M&O committee, and also by himself in some instances. So, and I know he's helped me with Comcast issues as well, which he was the chairman of that. So I want to thank you again, and I appreciate everybody show their appreciation for Stanley.
Thank you, Charlie, for those very kind words. Actually, thank you belongs to the committee members, past, present, and management. We worked as a team, putting aside all personal agenda items, and as you can see, we accomplished quite a bit. So again, thank you to everybody that worked with me and made life much easier. Thank you.
And one of the things that we have to remember, okay, is that all the delegates that you see up front are all volunteers. They may be directors, may be presidents, but they're all volunteers. Everybody at this desk is volunteers. I mean, I hear pool talk that we're all getting paid a salary. Well, we're all volunteers, and I think that's important to realize and to know going forward, because some of you don't know. Okay, Lynn, the treasurer's report, please.
Good morning, everyone. Our month-ending balance in the checking account is $14,342. Our CD is $29,779, for a total of $44,122. Last month's balance was $45,000. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. And the M&O committee, Lynn is now the chairman of that committee. So Lynn, do you have anything on the M&O committee?
Yes, I do. The committee met with management on March 19th, 2025. Before we met with management, we had an organizational meeting to nominate a new chairperson and secretary. I was voted to be the new chairperson, and Martin Fish was voted to be the new secretary. Present for management was Judy Milliton, Vice President, Sen West Site Administrator, Monica Wells, Senior Vice President and CFO of Senville Recreation, Dan Cruz, Vice President of Facilities Manager, Abby Koffler, Entertainment, and Michelle Kaiser, Entertainment. Highlights of our meeting: Omar and Mario from Academy Bus traveled to Uptown Boca to see if they could accommodate our buses. Now Judy Millington will get in touch with Uptown Boca's management and ask for permission for our buses to enter the area. Electric charging stations have been tabled for this year and will be revisited in the future. Starting in April, we will have 3 showings of movies. The Sunday movie will have closed caption if available. We have relocated the pickleball court from the Mansfield tennis court area, and it has been moved to the clubhouse area. We will bring the tennis court to the Mansfield area, back to the Mansfield area. Any questions? Yes.
I just want to clarify, I'm sorry, Diana Stello from Cornwall. I just want to clarify the pickleball courts in the Mansfield area it was never a tennis court. You said you're going to put a tennis court back to the Mansfield area? There's 4 there. No, my understanding was that was built separate from the 4 courts.
I would have to check that.
Okay, but besides that, again, I'll mention that we have a larger group of pickleball players here in the whole community, not just the pickleball club. And I would like you to consider waiting to convert it to tennis courts until you have a full season. There's no rush to get the conversion done. So I would just like you to consider that when you're considering your budget. I don't believe you'll need it for next year. I would wait.
Thank you.
That's it. All right.
Elaine Harris, hi. Lynn, could you explain, there was one tennis court being kept here, is that Singleton moving or is it
The
staying?
one that's at the main clubhouse is staying.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, appreciate it. Community Affairs, Stanley, please.
Okay, a short report, but my understanding there may be a commission change naming Boca Raton the traffic center of Florida, but that we'll find out later on. I'm only kidding. Don't take me seriously. Tonight, the West Boca Community Council has a meeting at the Coconut Grove Water Park, which is in the Bert Harrison Park area. It seems that Lennar has purchased the golf course at Boca Lago, and their intention is to build 800 townhouses. The meeting tonight is going to discuss the problems of having what it means to our schools, traffic, and the quality of life. So if you have the opportunity, join in and tell them how you feel about it. But it's going to add more problems to the area. Thank you. Any questions? The meeting's at 7 o'clock tonight. Nothing much on Comcast. The only change in Comcast is the representative. We have another person who's taken over the duties. They will meet on Tuesday and Thursdays from 10 to 1. Previously it was Wednesday and Friday, so now it's Tuesday and Thursday. So hopefully it will be improved and things will work much smoother. Thank you.
Okay, Regina, do you want to have something on hot wire and also follow that with elevator report?
Hi, good morning. I'm Regina Apicella from the Guilford Association. Hotwire is in the middle right now of leaving the Temple office and coming to the clubhouse, hopefully to share the room with Comcast. Things there are on hold until litigation between the clubhouse and Hotwire is satisfied. So for now, just continue to call the customer service number if you have any issues, and Hotwire will keep us updated by email according to how they're going to remedy the situation should they decide not to pursue the room in the clubhouse during the next couple of weeks. And as far as the elevator goes, they're finishing up at Hythe. I just received yesterday a schedule stating that Mansfield will be next, and there's a tentative schedule for all the Mansfield buildings starting next week. till 4/11 will be doing Mansfield A, and then B and C, D and E, F, 2 a week from next week up until right at Memorial Weekend. So Leah will be in charge of posting Mansfield and robocalling them, and we're hoping that prior to the first day at Mansfield, that directors and Mansfield president will have a staging area set aside for the parking along with first service, so the men aren't wasting time trying to carry materials from a further parking spot. So you would have to, if you're Mansfield A and B, I'm urging you to get with Leah at first service and Oracle John Nugent so we can have a proper staging area set aside prior to the workers starting on that Monday. Questions?
Is that it, Regina? Yeah. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, Sid, the Cobra Group?
Thank you, Charlie. Before my report, Mona, do you have financials to read, please? Mona's our treasurer, so she has the current numbers.
Good morning, everyone. The financials for Cobrua. We have 3 CDs totaling $96,678. We have 1 CD, a $25,000 CD that'll be eligible for renewal this month, April of 25. We'll look at rates and we'll determine whether it gets rolled over or what we're going to do, but most likely we'll roll it over. We have a balance in the checking account of $58,062.28. Total balance for Cobrua is $154,740.28. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. And I will just add that everyone is paid up, so all associations are current.
Okay, thank you.
I have my report,
Oh, I'm sorry.
unless you want me to. The Cobra Group has retained Stuart Nyberg, a partner in the national accounting firm of Cohn Resnick, as our financial consultant for the potential buyout of the clubhouse and rec facilities. The board and our attorney interviewed 3 prospects before deciding on Mr. Nyberg. His experience is in valuation services, transaction advisory, and corporate planning for businesses. Mr. Nyberg's fees are being paid from the $1.75 a month that the community is paying to prepare for and to fund the 2020 election on whether or not to exercise the option. We had hoped to have a consultant in place prior to the planned April 4th community meeting. Unfortunately, the search and interviews took longer than expected, and when we decided on Mr. Nyberg, he had other pre-existing client commitments. While we missed having any new information for you by April 4th, Mr. Nyberg has gotten to work answering the board's what-ifs and building proposed models for payment options. We hope to reschedule the community meeting in the fall as soon as the snowbirds return. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. Bylaws, Ted?
Thank you, Bertha. Good morning. The reason I'm sitting up here is because we have some things to go over, as this is the first of 2 meetings before we vote on whether or not we do make a change to the bylaws. So I figured, as opposed to previous meetings where everybody was looking at my head, if you don't mind, this is what I really look like. I'll be facing everybody. Thank you. Chacha will be available for paw prints later on. The bylaws committee, as it's been printed, has advised the executive board several months ago of a recommended change to the bylaws regarding the summer months. The executive board made a little tweak to that amendment. Everything has been printed in the Cobrua Reporter as required for notification within the 14 days, et cetera, well within those time frames. However, in the printing of the Cobrua Reporter, there was an error in the dates suggesting that March and April would be the dates for contemplating the amendment, and April would be the vote. At the previous meeting that we had before this one, that was not correct. I made motion that May is actually the date of our May meeting is actually the date of the vote. I did send that into the publisher. The publisher, for whatever reason, didn't make the change. And if you look at the Cobrua Reporter, it has March and April as the two contemplating dates when it should be April and May. So we still are doing everything well in advance of the 14 days notice required for those two meetings. So today, April, is the first day, and the word that's used in the bylaws is contemplating, such as Aristotle contemplating the bust of Homer. I don't know why the word, but we'll be able to contemplate, discuss the amendment today. At the May meeting, we'll be able to discuss the amendment again, and we will be voting in May. So delegates, please come. If your delegates at large in here, please come. In case some delegates don't come, presidents, please impress it upon your boards and your delegates to be here, because we do have a very important vote that really does affect everybody, including snowbirds. And this is something that's been taking place for several years, but history does not necessarily mandate a change in the bylaws. So we are affecting this year, if the delegates choose to have a change in the bylaws according to what's been done in the past. So if I may, the present bylaw is the delegates shall meet the second Tuesday of every month to be held at such time and place as the delegates may designate. Which means that 12 months out of the year, every month on the second Tuesday, there should be a delegates meeting. The proposed amendment reads, the delegates shall meet the second Tuesday of every month, and here's the change. Unless the delegates vote at the May meeting to eliminate one, but not more than two of the monthly meetings. The meeting, three, I'm sorry, previous paper. The delegates shall meet the second Tuesday of every month. However, the delegates may vote at the May meeting to eliminate up to 3 monthly named meetings. The meetings are to be held at such time and place as the delegates may designate. So the change is, however, the delegates may vote at the May meeting to eliminate up to 3 monthly named meetings. Meaning that at the May meeting, every year, the delegates will have the opportunity to choose up to 3 months to suspend meetings. Does everybody understand? Any questions? This is the first time to contemplate. Yes, sir. Oh, you can take this one. Name and building, please. May I meet association, please?
Arthur Harris, hi. Up to 3 monthly named meetings.
Yes.
Does that mean exclusively the summer, June, July, August, or is that any months of the year?
Any months of the year, so that it may be the delegates decide that it's July and August, and for whatever reason, December. But it's up to 3, that's why it's 3 named months, not 3 consecutive months.
Hi, Regina Apicella, Guilford Association. We're voting on this in May, correct? So we'll know the results that day in May.
That's correct, because we have to make a decision in May.
So we can make a decision about this summertime that day in May.
Of the 3 months.
Okay.
I'm gonna be semantic. We can make a decision of up to 3 months so, this coming May, the next meeting, we'll speak about it again, we'll vote on it, and if the amendment passes, then we also choose those months, and this will be the first May meeting that we do that.
Thank you.
Mitchell Schaefer, Brighton. In the possibility, though it can be remote, that there is no quorum in May, is there going to be a stipulation in the bylaw that the vote can be at another time?
Interesting question that hasn't been proposed. So we cannot, since that hasn't been proposed,
Well, I'm proposing it now.
okay. We'll deal with that in May if we don't have a quorum. We'll deal with it in May if we don't have a quorum.
Well, maybe it should be put into the notation now.
Now, are you asking for, look, excuse me, Rich, for any May going forward, including this one, or are you just being specific to the amendment for this May?
No, well, this is the May that you're going to be voting for.
Right, so you're talking about the vote,
Yeah.
not,
Right, not being able to have the vote in May if there wasn't a quorum. Isn't that right?
a very interesting question.
Thank you.
Has been contemplated.
Okay,
Not been
thank you.
contemplated. Okay, let's hear other questions, we can come back to that, but
This young lady.
Okay, Diana Stilwell, Cornwall. 2 questions. If we were to make any changes to this amendment now, it would require posting again and delaying everything, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Each of our associations can send an alternate. So each of us should make sure that we have, if our regular delegates can't make it, send an alternate. Make
so
sure
that
you
you have the
have
maximum number
enough
of votes.
for the quorum. The second question is, this vote, will it be a show of hands, or it's not a ballot vote, right?
It'll be determined before next May, has been determined yet. The
It hasn't been
bylaws
determined yet.
The bylaws aren't specific to the type of vote, but that
Yeah, and I know it doesn't have to be, I was just curious.
hasn't been
It'll
decided.
take as long as the other votes.
It will be decided before May.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, I'm going to refer to the board on this because there is nothing in the bylaws about that. Other than if we're going to change the amendment, Mitch, in order to bring into the effect possibility of not having a quorum, then we have to go through the whole ritual again.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will defer to not going through the ritual again of the 14 days and bringing it up next year, and let's hope in May we have a quorum, and then we can bring it up in September. Or actually, we'll bring it up in June because the bylaws do require a meeting in June as it stands. Elaine?
Elaine Harris, hi. Are you addressing anywhere in here what happens if you decide not in May?
Who is you? You said you decide, I don't
It's
decide.
the entity
Okay.
of the delegates.
Yes.
What happens if you want to make a change for the calendar year starting June 1 of 25 to May of 26? So you get up to September and you say, gee, maybe we need to get rid of February's meeting. Out of luck?
And no, in May, you make a decision.
I'm saying we're past May.
Yeah,
We didn't put February in.
decision's made in May.
So if you only choose 1 month in May,
It's done for the year.
and if you choose 3, must you stick with it?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the amendment, that becomes the bylaw, and we follow the bylaw.
Dan Tanzer, Ainsley. To follow up on Helene, I think if you add the word only to May, then that provides some clarity that perhaps is needed.
with all due respect, any change to the proposed bylaw now will require us to do that 2-meeting, 14-day cycle again, which means this won't come up to a vote until next year. Now, this has been published previously. It's been spoken about and read at 2 previous meetings. I wish somebody would have brought something up for a change previously, and then we could still have adhered to those 2 14-day periods previous to that. That's why, even though we're only required to have 2 readings and the vote on the amendment, each with a minimum of 14 days before notification, the committee decided to present it 4 times, not just 2 times, so that if anybody had any, and it was all printed and put on people's seats previously, so that if anybody did have any suggestions for a change, it could have been addressed previously. Okay, so I'm not opposed I'm not opposed to making a change. We just have to wait another year until we do this again, if we do make a change. Anybody else? Okay, so thank you very much. At the May meeting, everybody present, speak to your delegates, speak to your delegates at large, your alternate delegates. Please show up and let's have a real big, not just a quorum, but a big vote so we know what the real wishes of the entire community are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it. Okay, Jody, security report.
Good morning, my name is Jody with United Security, and I'm here to present the monthly report for March. For miles patrol, we had 4,943. Pre-authorized calls, we had 12,460. Contractors, we had 429. Elevator malfunction, we had 3. Auto accidents, in February we had 5, and in March we had 4. Welfare checks, in February we had 5, and in March we had 2. Fire, in February we had 3, and in March we had 0. IDs confiscated, February we had 36, which was 14 for the clubhouse, 21 for the gates. In March we had 46, with 11 for the clubhouse and 35 for the gates. Any questions?
Barbara Dundee, Brighton. I came through the gate Sunday night about 8:20 p.m. and the guard let at least 4 cars go through without checking ID on the guest side.
I will look into that.
Thank
Martin Fish from Rexford. So this morning, just before I came here, I received a call from an owner who said that they had just come down and they own apartments in 2 of our buildings in Rexford. And they said that 3 labeled bikes were missing. I had another report about 2 months ago that someone said their labeled bike was missing. So apparently we are having an apparent problem of theft of our bike rooms. I'm going to walk around the bike rooms today to see if there's at least visually a significant decrease in the number of bikes. So I was wondering if there were reports of other associations having a problem with theft of their bikes.
First time hearing about it. But I'll have the Rovers do a patrol, but this is the first time I've heard about it.
Right, so we're going to look into putting locks on our bike rooms, but okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I got a suggestion. My name's Ted H. Exeter. Ted H. Exeter. If you live here 2 years, 1 year, 12 years, 20 years, people are old. They forget their ID in their house, and the security is very nasty, ignorant, no common sense. They should let you go. It's common decency. You can't make a 90-year-old go upstairs and go get their ID, especially if they took a bus. At times, we do forget our IDs, and you gotta have some decency and common sense. Okay, you know the person for 2 years, let them go through. You can't refuse. And they're very hostile.
What exactly is your suggestion that you're saying?
If you know somebody for 2 or 5, 10 years, they live here, and if they forget their ID and the person's security guard knows them, let them go.
Familiar face does not give you access to them.
Well, I think that's wrong. It's common sense that they should have a little,
Doesn't mean that they live here.
a little leniency.
We do have leniency for certain things, but for familiar face, we will not, no.
And
If it's the case where we have leniency when it comes to, we have residents that might have had a slip and fall, their ID was at home, they went to the hospital, when they came back to the gate, they have the wristband on, and I can look at a report and tell they fell, we have leniency for things like that. But for a familiar face, no.
Well, I think they should change the rules.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi. PJ Carswell, Presidency. You've helped me a lot, and I thank you, Jody. But I want to know what the rover does. I've seen the rover come in and leave. He's in and out. I've contacted you, contacted Charlie. We've had cars in our parking lot that don't belong there. They're not ticketed. They don't have a sticker. They have flat tires. I've actually had to contact everybody to get them towed. I mean, we're not a slum. This is disgusting that they allow vehicles that are all beat up, flat tires, sitting in our parking lots. So what does the rover do? I've watched him. I'm sure he has a difficult job. He drives through. He never ticketed them. You were most helpful. Sen West was helpful. And we had to get, give them 2 weeks leeway, put a tag on the car, and finally get it towed. But, flat tires, he doesn't see that. I mean, whose job is it? Is it our president's job to do that? Is it our job? I'm not a director. I'm nobody. I'm just a resident. But I think that's not right that we have this issue. And there are cars there that have no stickers on them in guest spots for months. There's one I've been watching. They're parked there for months with flat tires.
I think we spoke last meeting, and I think me and you spoke again.
Well, I contacted you recently, and we just towed one.
Yes, and I did explain to you, I think we spoke 2 weeks ago, that that's an association issue. Rovers are not permitted to tow in any association.
Okay, but can they not tag the vehicles?
No, they cannot, ma'am.
They can't let the president know?
We do incident reports, but no, we cannot. As I spoke to you and I told you also, contact your building director or your association president.
We don't have a director, number one, and number two, it would have to be Charlie, I guess.
Yes, and he spoke to you as well.
Yeah, and nothing ever gets done.
That's an association.
I'm just very wondering whose responsibility is it? So it's the president's responsibility. I have to walk around and let them know. Nobody checks the parking lots.
Our rovers have done reports on the same vehicles you're complaining about, but it still stands that is an association issue, not security issue.
Because apparently a lot of people have left cars here, go up north, is my understanding from other residents, pass away, and their car stays here. Maybe the children don't know they had one here or something. something, I don't know. But it's a real problem when you have to sit there and look at cars with flat tires. It seems to me the Rover should ticket those cars, or tag them, or let somebody know.
That's an association issue, ma'am.
Okay.
You can speak with your association president, Mr. Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say one thing about that. When there's a car sitting around for several days with a flat tire and goes unattended, I have First Service tag the car, okay, and give them a 2-week period to resolve the problem. If they don't resolve the problem, I do have it towed. That's the way it works. Thank you.
Jody, I wanted to direct this to what the gentleman had mentioned. If somebody forgets their ID, I'm sure they must have their driver's license with the address on it if they're coming through, or their insurance papers in the car with their name and address. They must have something, so that would identify.
We definitely make exceptions for certain things, but a lot of times if we have a resident that's continually doing the same thing, not only that, those same residents want to also go in the residence lane and just flip up their ID and want us to give access. These are where our issues are coming in, but if it's the same person, because we do reports, the guards do let us know that this person has been doing it. We're not going to keep having leniency or giving access to the same person who's breaking that rule every single week.
Oh, one more thing. I'll volunteer if you want me to put air in people's tires. So they don't get them.
That's up to you guys and your association.
It'll be my pleasure if they want to contact me.
Okay. Is there any other questions for security?
Yeah, my name is Jay Goldberg, Wolverton. I'm just wondering if when we're notified by the gate security that someone wants to come in, but they're not on our guest list, and our response is that we're not expecting them, what happens at the gate then?
We turn them around.
You have a security question?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Fred Hadley, excuse me, Cornwall Association. The other day I noticed, and I'm not saying it just happened, that there's no more black telephone at the satellite port, at least in Cornwall. No signage explaining why it's no longer there. The red phone, which connects directly to 911, I believe, is still there. I don't believe we were ever told why and when those phones were removed. Can you give us a report on the black phones at the satellite pool?
I do know that those phones are being replaced by the push button phones. So, but I can definitely speak with Ms. Millington to see the time frame for it, but a lot of those phones are being replaced. They're using the push buttons now.
Oh, so in other words, it's an upgrade of equipment, not a removal of equipment.
Upgrade, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Okay.
My name is Len Lechner of Suffolk. I think the village has a terrible problem with speeding. I'm just wondering what, if anything, is doing about the speeding in this village.
The most that we could do is speak to the residents. We can't give tickets. We're not the police. We encourage residents to not speed. Sometimes we'll go to if we know where they live, we'll go to the unit, speak with them about speeding, but there's not much we can do but to continue asking you guys to not speed. The speed limit is 20, and in the association it's 10, so please don't speed.
I had a car on my way here. I was going about 30. The car passed me. If he wasn't going 60, he wasn't going at all. So I don't know how you get to the residents and tell them to do that. You have to do something in this village to stop the speeding. And talking to the residents hasn't done
it. We can't ticket, sir. We can only speak and encourage.
Okay, is there anything else? Want to move on here?
One more and then we're done.
John Garzaniti, Fanshawe. I don't know why we can't have signage that senses the speed of oncoming vehicles and just alerts the driver of that vehicle what their speed is.
We have those on both sides of the village.
They are insufficient in terms of number or placement. Okay, they're insufficient in terms of number or placement. I've complained previously about this. We have people that on the far east end of our development get on one of the throughways. There's only two that go to the exits or entrance, and they pick up speed all the way. So it's going from east to west. There's no speed sensing devices, right? That alert the driver, I am going at this speed, and it will tell the driver, oh, I need to slow down, right? There's no reason why we can't have those.
I'll bring that up to administration. Any other questions?
Milton Fishberger, Cornwall. For the people in this room who have been spoken about speed, which is a problem, if I remember correctly, and for the people who are on the Management Search Committee, if there is a will, there's a way to do this. It's installing cameras, speed cameras, just like you see police catching you on a speed camera. As a matter of fact, I don't remember, Sid, maybe you remember, that it was one of the management companies who did that. Campbell. It was Campbell? Okay. Campbell was one of the companies that was interviewed. They had in fact installed, because of the issue that the residents of that particular HOA or condominiums, I don't remember, but they had installed a speed camera system, and it basically eliminated the issue of speeding. So if you want to spend the money, and if you want to look into it, that may be something that MNO, because that's where it would fall probably under. I don't know if it would or not, but there is a way to do this, and that would cut it down, but it will cost money.
This gentleman has last question, please.
I just have the last question, and I apologize for being late. My name is Randy, and I don't know if this has anything to do with security or not, but there's something that's very, very dangerous. In all the complexes that I've ever experienced, I've never seen when you go through a gate, you have to make an immediate stop if somebody's going through that crosswalk. That is the most dangerous thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I think there's going to be a problem one day, and that's when you'll probably fix it. Going through night, the gate opens up, you step on your gas, and then all of a sudden a bicycle comes right through, or walkers come right through the crosswalk within 5 feet of when the gate opens. It's mind-boggling that nobody could use, in all due respect, common sense. I would take those crosswalks away and move them up 100 yards, whatever it takes, 50 yards even, but I think you have a dangerous situation, and I've never seen anything like that in my entire...
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
That makes sense or not. I can't tell you how many people almost got hit.
As a person who walks in and out the gatehouse constantly every day, the reason that is a problem, they speed. You know how many cars I had to hit with my arm before I could possibly be run over? Because they want to go to make the light, or when it's red, they want to go, so as soon as they get up there, it'll turn green. It's the speeding. It's not the way it's done.
Thank you, Richard. Well, there's only one more question we're going to take.
Elaine Harris, hi. If this isn't security, just correct me and I'll save it. With regard to the roads, when you come in at the north gate by Yarmouth where the new water things are, that we put up the yellow stanchions, and then there was greenery put in, you actually cannot see coming in the north gate where, if anybody's leaving Yarmouth and wanting to make a right or a left, doesn't matter, you can't see them coming in when you're on the right of way. It's incredibly dangerous. I don't know if it's enough to just bring back the foliage or, cut down the foliage. I don't know who should address it, but I'd like somebody to look at it. Thank you.
Elaine, you could fill out a form and we'll look into it. And we'll get you an answer next month. I said Helene was the last question.
I'll be very quick. I'm Larry from Ainsley. In order to solve the speeding issue, if you put a number of speed bumps throughout the whole place, that might help it.
Okay, we want to move forward here. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Jody, for your patience. Okay, is there any old business? Okay, so old business from the residents, I'm just going to go over that. Here are the resident comments or questions from March 11th meeting with responses. Okay, from Michael at Cornwall. Michael asked about electric chargers in the parking lots. The answer is the topic has been labeled for now and was tabled, for now, and will be revisited in future budgets. From Alan at Suffolk, Alan asked about the excessive bus idling in front of the clubhouse. Answer, there exists a federal regulation that the academy buses must adhere to.
What is it? What is the regulation?
Okay, I could read the whole thing if you like.
Yeah.
In brief, diesel exhaust fluid is injected into the exhaust system, which reacts to reduce harmful nitrogen, oxide, and converts it into the harmless nitrogen and water. This is important because that helps reduce nitrogen oxide emissions, which are a major contributor to air pollution and can have negative impacts on human health and the environment, and that reacts through a process called selective catalytic reduction, which converts into nitrogen and water, effectively mitigating environmental impact. That's the full answer. Okay, the third question was from John at Fanshawe. John expressed concern about smokers and at or near the pool, and was concerned about cigarette butts being poisonous, especially to small dogs. The answer, no one should be smoking near the pools. The pools have signs that inform smokers to stay 25 feet away from the pools. If a person is observed smoking within the posted distance, security should be called. Now, last month there was a woman that saw me at the end of the meeting, and she had a petition with 67 signatures for bocce ball. She wants to have a bocce ball court. So we are gonna look into that. We're looking for the space to see if we have where we would place it. But also, this would be on, it's a budget item, so it would be on next year's budget, but it's something that we want to pursue.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. Okay, any new business?
Yes, I have. Charlie over here.
Okay, you got a mic?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me. As many of you know, there was a problem at last Saturday's dance. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, world-class DJ was not able to make it and the dance had to be canceled. At 7:22 Saturday night, Christian from Entertainment, who was present backstage, was notified that the DJ had not shown up. Christian immediately called and was told that he had double booked, even though he had confirmed via a phone call a few days before. At this late hour, there was no time to try and hire someone at the last minute. SemWest is working on Plan B, so if this does happen again, they might have something to replace it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn, appreciate it.
This is actually old business. Last month, I brought up a question and was told to fill out a suggestion at the desk, which I did. The question involved a safety issue coming out of Wolverton Drive. There are cars that continually or frequently make a left into the oncoming traffic. I had asked if there could be a do not enter sign put up there for safety purposes. Was anything followed up with that at all?
Okay, did we see that at M&O at all? Did we see that question at M&O? Does anybody know? Either Lynn or Stanley? No? Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, it's a safety issue coming out of Wolverton Drive, making a left going towards the exit gate. There are cars that frequently will go into the first set of lanes instead of going into the far lane, and by doing so, they're coming into the oncoming traffic. So it would be advantageous to have a sign there that says do not enter, so they'd have to go into the far lane to make their left to go towards the exit gate. This is the question I brought up.
If you would take out one of the papers and just write down your complaint and leave it with Sherry, then the M&O committee will take a look at it.
Right, that's what you told me to do last week, which I did immediately following the meeting, and I gave it to Sherry.
All right, we have not seen it yet. I will check with Judy.
Okay, please.
Well, I would say to put on that sheet when you fill it out that this is a second request. Was there any other new business? No? Okay, good and welfare delegates? Any good and welfare for delegates? Okay, good and welfare for residents? And just to keep in mind, there is a 2-minute limit.
Good morning. Thank you, Charlie. I just want to add my thanks to Stanley Siegel for the tireless years of service that he gave to this village and is continuing to give. With regard to the Wolverton exit just mentioned, I think a sign should be on the island saying keep right would be the answer to make the cars go around that island. If you say do not enter, they might not even want to go left at all. With regard to speed bumps, we did have speed bumps in this village at Century Village Boulevard and Cornwall. Actually increased the number of accidents because the cars on the side street saw the boulevard guy slowing down for the speed bump and says, what a gentleman, he's letting me go first. But he wasn't, and therefore there was a collision. Plus fire rescue, they do not like speed bumps. It's very injurious to their delicate equipment. With regard to the dance, Lynn pretty much covered it. I thank you for looking into it, Lynn. I did call you up the night of the dance. I was a little upset. But it just highlights the fact that we do not have any kind of instant communication system like email or text messaging. If I had received an email or a text message at 7:22 or even 7:42, it would have saved me from coming over to the clubhouse. So, of course, this is just a dance, but this message system would serve well for all emergencies. Please, let's have some kind of real-time communication. With regard to the meeting tonight, if you can't make it over to Bert Aronson Park, I will be streaming the meeting. Again, that's the meeting to discuss with Lennar the coming of 800 homes. By the way, the entire golf course hasn't been sold. Simply 1/3, or 9 of the 27 holes are going to be converted. They're not removing the golf course. And by the way, before anybody asks, the golf course across the street will be closing May 5th for 6 months for remodeling. That's a beautiful word, as a certain president would say, because it means they're not going to convert it to housing. And that's a county-owned golf course that we built. Century Village built it and sold it to the county. With regard to the portals, I saw in the Cobrua Reporter...
Fred, you're running a little late here.
Yeah, all right, that you're trying to get the bids on the portals. I think it's terribly upsetting that the associations are voting on a management contract, the most important contract, and not one association that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, has taken steps to get those bids put on the portal. Bids and contracts are not an option, Charlie. They are association records. They've been in the hands of the association for about 2 months, and no one is making any attempt to get those things in the hands of the unit owner or the directors so they can have an intelligent vote on the management contract. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very kindly for listening.
Okay, thank you.
John Garrison, 80 fan John. I had an incident walking my dog at night, probably about 9:30. It was after dark, where a individual riding an electric bike almost hit my small 10-pound dog. Right? They were traveling at a high rate of speed. They had no lights, dark clothing. They did not notify me. My back was turned. Right? I don't even know if they ever saw the dog. Right? These electric bikes, we have to have some common sense rules for them. I think people who have electric bikes have to have them register with the development, and I think that they have to obey some common sense rules, like not going faster than 15 miles an hour, right? Like having a light and a sound device on their bike, right? And not riding with headphones that cover both ears, or earbuds that are in both ears, so they can't be aware of their environment or surroundings. I've been told that it is perfectly legitimate for a development such as ours to put in some common sense rules for electric bikes. I think everybody who has an electric bike should have to register them, get a little tag, from the development, and they have to agree to these common sense rules.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Adesis Pass, Exeter C. Just 2 requests. A, you have these meetings and they're wonderful. They would be more wonderful if they could be accessed by everyone by putting them on Zoom. And 2, you're having an important meeting with the new accountant. I respectfully request that you do it when most of your residents are here, which is not in the fall, which is more towards December. Okay, thank you. Good morning, my name is Raisa. I live in Fanshawe A. I'm just wondering if it's still 55 plus community. You sure? I'm not, because it's a lot of really not belonging to our community people now. And they are not angels. They behave like it's, I don't know, they never had any manners. People live with the small kids,
they smoke everywhere, they litter, and no rules and regulations at all. At our pool, people come with dogs, smoking heavily. A few days ago, home attendant dyed a woman's hair at pool. So they're noisy, they drink, and I just wondering, what for do we have any rules?
Ma'am, I just want to respond to you, and I think you should, refer this to your association president and talk to your president.
Yeah,
or your
but we
director.
have a rule that people can smoke in
No.
their apartments, right?
In their apartment, yeah.
And on their patio, but
Not on
don't
the catwalk.
Huh?
Not on the catwalk.
But on the patio.
The patio, they could.
But all smoke goes to other people's apartment. My neighbor is a heavy smoker, and all smoke goes to my. Maybe you have to change this rule because it's supposed to be healthy style of life. We don't want to smoke to breathe with the smoke. We need fresh air. And
Okay, ma'am, I understand what you're saying. Thank you for your feedback, and we will talk about it, see if there's anything we can do. Thank you.
when we will talk about it.
As I said before, it's an association issue, so you should
No, it's
talk
not
to your
association
president.
because it's supposed to be in the whole village, the same. A lot of sick people, elderly people, and we need healthy style of life. Smoke is killing. So we have to do something about it. It's not only in our association. I'm talking about all associations.
Okay, thank you. We have to move forward.
Mine is about the 55 plus. We have a lot of people coming here that are not 55. People are buying apartments, their uncles, their aunts, and they move in their kids. We have one in our place, Charlie, that you and I have discussed, or we haven't had the opportunity.
And First Service is working on that, and we've
Well,
told
they
you
need
this
to.
numerous times.
They need to work on it.
They are working on
We
it.
are 55 plus. You do the interviews. When you interview these people.
I don't interview the people. That's
Oh,
not
First
my-
Service
I
does?
don't. No,
But
I
then
don't.
you never get to meet them. Well, perhaps you should, and then we wouldn't have this, because a lot of people are not 55 plus. I asked one of them. He said, I'm 45. He thought it was funny. I don't think it's funny. I'm reporting it to CD and a lot of other people. Enough is enough. I bought here because it's 55 plus. You're allowing anybody to move in when they buy an apartment, they rent or whatever, and nobody's checking or monitoring anything. It's horrible.
Not true, not true.
Oh, it is true.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
It is not. Okay, thank you for your... Okay, the meeting is now adjourned. Do I have a second, please? Thank you all for coming.